Most seniors shopping for a used SUV right now are about to make a $15,000 mistake. They're being steered toward overpriced new crossovers by salespeople who know exactly what they're doing, while 5 luxury SUVs priced between $8,500 and $18,000 are sitting ignored in the back row of used lots across America. And every single one of them is better suited for older drivers than what the salesman is pushing. These are not rough trade-ins. These are clean, comfortable, well-engineered luxury SUVs that crashed in value between 2025 and 2026. Not because they got worse, but because the market got distracted. And that distraction is your opportunity. Because if you know which 5 to look for, you can get a luxury SUV that is easier to get into, easier to see out of, more comfortable to drive, and far less likely to hit you with a repair bill that ruins your month. Number 5 is the one nobody looks at twice and should. Number 4 is the American luxury SUV selling for Camry money. Number 3 is the one mechanics buy for their own family. Number 2 is the family hauler that doesn't feel like one. But number 1, that's the one I would hand to my own parents without thinking twice. Let's get into it. Number 5, Acura RDX, 2013 to 2018. If you want luxury for senior drivers without paying German repair shop prices, the Acura RDX is one of the smartest used buys on the market right now. And from 2025 to 2026, it got hit harder in value than it deserved to. Why? Because buyers still don't treat Acura like a full luxury brand, even when the vehicle itself makes more sense than a lot of BMWs, Audis, and Mercedes models sitting right next to it on the same lot. That badge discount is your advantage, because underneath this SUV is exactly the kind of thing older drivers should want. The seat height is right in the sweet spot. You don't have to climb up into it. You don't have to fall down into it. You just slide in. And that matters more than people think. I had a customer last year, 74 years old, just had her right hip replaced. She test drove 4 SUVs in one afternoon. The RDX was the only one she got in and out of without wincing. She bought it that weekend, drove it home the same day. If someone has knee pain, hip stiffness, or a back that reminds them every morning that they are not 35 anymore, the way an SUV lets you enter and exit is a huge deal. The RDX gets that part right. Visibility is also excellent. The windows are large, the cabin feels open, and Acura hadn't yet gone crazy with tiny glass and thick body lines like a lot of newer SUVs. Under the hood is Acura's 3.5-liter naturally aspirated V6. No turbocharger to fail. No tiny overstressed engine trying to pretend it's something bigger. No unnecessary complication where you don't need it. It's also paired with a traditional 6-speed automatic, not a CVT. That's a big deal, because when older buyers want peace of mind, they don't care about trendy engineering. They care about whether the SUV starts, shifts smoothly, and stays out of the shop. This one usually does. From 2025 to 2026, clean RDX models slipped into the $10,000 to $14,000 range of price, where they suddenly make more sense than loaded mainstream crossovers. So instead of buying something ordinary for ordinary money, seniors can step into leather seats, a quieter cabin, and a much more refined driving experience without destroying the budget. This is the SUV you buy when you want real luxury without paying for the badge hype. Quick buyer check. Make sure the power tailgate works, check for a smooth idle, and confirm the AWD service history if it's an all-wheel drive model. But if you want something even more overlooked, an American luxury SUV that depreciated so hard, it's now selling for Camry money. Number 4 might be the quietest smart buy on this entire list. Number 4, Lincoln MKX, 2016 to 2018. Here's the one that makes mechanics laugh when they see the price tag. Not because it's bad, because it's this good for this cheap. The 2016 to 2018 Lincoln MKX. And from 2025 to 2026, the depreciation on these was almost unfair. Why? Because Lincoln spent years fighting an outdated reputation. Younger buyers ignored them, luxury shoppers chased German badges instead, and the market punished the MKX harder than it deserved to. That is exactly why a smart senior should pay attention right now. Under the hood is Ford's 3.7-liter naturally aspirated V6. No turbo, no hybrid complexity, just a proven simple engine paired to a conventional automatic transmission. Owners report these running past 250,000 miles with nothing more than basic maintenance. But the real reason this SUV earns its spot is how it treats the driver. Lincoln gave the MKX something called multi-contour seats with 22-way adjustment, including an extendable thigh cushion and adjustable lumbar side bolsters. For a senior with back pain, hip stiffness, or circulation issues on long drives, that level of seat customization is genuinely rare at this price point. Edmunds described the MKX simply, quiet on the highway, very comfortable seats, suspension that soaks up bumps. That's the MKX in one sentence. It prioritizes comfort above everything else, and for older drivers, that is exactly the right priority. The cabin is quiet. The ride is soft without being floaty. You sit at a natural chair height. Visibility is clean, with generously sized windows and no aggressive styling blocking your sightlines. A clean 2016 Lincoln MKX now shows up between $12,000 and $16,000. That is a legitimate American luxury SUV with heated and cooled leather seats, a smooth V6, and a genuinely quiet cabin priced like a used RAV4. For a senior who wants comfort, simplicity, and doesn't care about badge status, the MKX is the play nobody else is making. The Lincoln MKX is the SUV for the senior who values how a vehicle feels from the driver's seat more than what the badge says to the neighbor. Quick buyer check. Stick with the 3.7-liter V6, not the turbo 2.7. Check that the battery-positive cable recall has been addressed on 2016 to 2017 models. And test all seat adjustment motors. The 22-way system is great, but heavily used motors can wear. But if the MKX is the quiet American comfort play, number 3 is the tank built like Lexus engineers were personally offended by the very idea of a breakdown. Number 3, Lexus GX460. The Lexus GX460 is one of the most over-engineered luxury SUVs ever sold in America. And from 2025 to 2026, it dropped in value hard enough to become a serious opportunity for the right buyer. Why did it fall? Because it looks old school, because it drinks more fuel than the average crossover, and because modern buyers see big V8 SUV and immediately think outdated. That's exactly why smart buyers should pay attention. Because what the market calls outdated, experienced owners call proven. The GX460 uses a 4.6-liter, naturally aspirated V8 and a well-proven automatic transmission. No turbo drama, no complicated powertrain gimmicks. Just a drivetrain with a reputation for lasting and lasting long. I know a landscaping contractor who bought a used GX460 with 120,000 miles on it 3 years ago. He's put another 80,000 miles on it since towing equipment, running jobs every single day, and it has never once left him stranded. That's not luck, that's engineering. Now, compared with the RDX and MKX, the GX sits higher. On paper, that sounds worse for seniors, but in real life, a lot of older drivers actually prefer it. Why? Because the seating position is upright, the doors open wide, and thanks to the step rail, many people can sit first and swing their legs in instead of bending down into a lower seat. For some backs and hips, that's actually easier. You sit high, you see everything, and the whole SUV gives you that secure, commanding feeling that a lot of seniors love, especially in bad weather or on long highway drives. It also has something most modern luxury vehicles seem to be losing: simplicity. It feels solid, predictable, confidence-inspiring. And when people get older, confidence matters. And the GX delivers that every single time you turn the key. Now, yes, fuel economy is not its strength, but that same weakness is exactly why prices got softer from 2025 to 2026. Buyers obsessed with MPG walked away, and that pushed this SUV closer to mainstream pricing, now around $14,000 to $18,000 for clean examples. Which is kind of remarkable when you think about what you're actually getting. A true Lexus, a real V8, body-on-frame durability, and a reputation for outlasting vehicles that cost twice as much. This is the SUV for the senior driver who wants to buy once, keep it a long time, and worry less. Check the rear air suspension for leaks or sagging, inspect underneath for off-road abuse, and make sure the rear door swings and closes properly. But if the GX is the tank, number 2 is the surprise that most seniors never even test drive a 3-row luxury SUV that doesn't drive like one. And from 2025 to 2026, skipping it has been a mistake worth fixing. Number 2, Acura MDX 2014 to 2018. If the GX460 is too truck-like and the MKX is too understated, the Acura MDX might be exactly where you land. And from 2025 to 2026, the market kept ignoring these because buyers chase the shiny new stuff. Smart seniors can take advantage of that. This generation MDX uses the same 3.5-liter V6 as the smaller RDX, meaning no turbos, no CVT, no experimental engineering. Just a proven drivetrain with a track record of staying reliable well past the warranty expiration date. But what makes it work for older drivers is something different. The MDX has a 3-row body, yes, but it doesn't drive like a big SUV. The seating position is chair height, not too high, not too low. The visibility is excellent, and owners consistently describe it as quiet, easy driving, and comfortable. I know a retired couple who bought one specifically because their grandkids were getting bigger and the car seats weren't getting any smaller. They told me they wanted something with space, but every 3-row SUV they tested felt like driving a school bus. The MDX was the only one that didn't. That's the thing about this SUV. It seats 7 without making you feel like you're captaining a ship. Now, a lot of seniors have grandkids. The MDX gives them room for car seats and weekend trips without forcing them into something oversized and intimidating. A clean 2014 Acura MDX now shows up between $13,000 and $16,000. That's a 3-row luxury SUV with leather, a smooth ride, and Honda engineering, priced like a 5-year-old mainstream crossover. And the running costs are reasonable too. It's an Acura, not a Mercedes. Parts are shared with Honda, mechanics know how to work on them. That matters when you're on a fixed budget and don't want surprises. The MDX is for the senior who wants room for the family without sacrificing comfort, reliability, or budget. Quick buyer check. The 2014 model year had a transmission software update. Make sure it's been applied. Check the AWD system if equipped, and confirm the timing belt service was done around 100,000 miles. But if the MDX gives seniors room for the family, number 1 gives them something even more valuable, the closest thing to a worry-free luxury SUV ever built. And right now, it's selling for less than it should. Number 1, Lexus RX 350 2010 to 2015. If you ask me for the single best luxury SUV for most senior drivers, this is it. The Lexus RX 350. Not because it's exciting, not because it's sporty, and definitely not because it's trying to impress anyone. Because it's easy. Easy to get into, easy to drive, easy to live with, easy to trust. And from 2025 to 2026, it got even more attractive because values softened, while the SUV itself kept doing exactly what it has always done, quietly making sense. Clean examples are now sitting between $12,000 and $17,000. This generation RX 350 uses Toyota's legendary 3.5-liter V6. Naturally aspirated, timing chain, proven across millions of Toyota and Lexus vehicles worldwide. That's already a strong foundation. But what really makes the RX number 1 is how well it fits the actual needs of older drivers. The seat height is just about perfect. Not too low, not too high. It's what a lot of people call chair height seating, and that is exactly what many seniors need. You open the door, sit down naturally, and go. No awkward climb, no deep drop. No fighting the vehicle. Then there's the ride quality. This SUV was built for comfort first, and you feel it immediately. It smooths out rough roads, stays composed, and keeps the cabin quiet in a way that matters far more to older drivers than sporty handling ever will. Because let's be honest, most seniors are not shopping for a luxury SUV to attack corners. They want something calm, soft, quiet, low stress. That is the RX 350. Visibility is also better than in a lot of newer SUVs because Lexus was still prioritizing practical design when this one was built. Bigger mirrors, cleaner sightlines, less gimmicky styling. And that makes daily driving easier, which is exactly the point. From 2025 to 2026, these RX models slid down enough in price that they started looking like an obvious answer for anyone shopping smart. Because now you're getting one of the best senior-friendly luxury SUVs ever made for the price of vehicles that are less comfortable, less refined, and often far less reliable. This is the one I'd hand to my own parents without thinking twice. Check for dashboard cracking on some earlier model years, test the rear hatch struts, and look for a clean service history from a careful previous owner. So here's the bottom line. 5 luxury SUVs, all crashed in value between 2025 and 2026. All genuinely better for senior drivers than most of what's being sold new right now. The Acura RDX, luxury without the badge tax. The Lincoln MKX, American comfort at Camry prices. The Lexus GX460, the tank that refuses to quit. The Acura MDX, room for the family without the school bus feeling. And the Lexus RX350, the one that gets everything right. The depreciation already happened. Someone is going to take advantage of it. Make sure it's you. Which one would you buy? Drop it in the comments.